right, so let's get into Aziz. So Aziz handled it, I thought, a lot better. And again, even if there's a little bullshit, like Aziz doesn't come out and say like, "Hey, it was a lot of money," like even if there's a little bullshit here, I'm all right with that. I'm not so indignant about this that I don't understand. Like, there's an element of PR to this a little bit. I just think Burrs is so crazy, and I got to give props to Kimmel for asking the question. Like, he was very direct about this, and I thought Aziz had a decent answer.
You were. I want to ask you about this this comedy festival over in Saudi Arabia that you were part of. Was that this weekend that went on?
It's going on now, and
it's still going on right now.
I think so. I'm not sure, but
now this is obviously something that's become a big part of the news because people, a lot of comedians especially, are very upset because this is the people who paid the comedians to come to this are not good people. They are. It's a pretty brutal regime. They've done a lot of.
Hey, Burr, how do you respond to that?
I got to be honest. Aziz just he goes, they're not good people, and he goes, no.
Hey, and shout out to Aziz for saying no. Bill Burr said, "Oh, but they're so silly. They're lovely, silly guys.
They're just wacky teachers."
This is all I needed. And again, Aziz will still get a ton of shit, maybe for the rest of his career. Maybe there are people that will never let that go. Mm-hmm. But like, for my heels are not so dug in on this. I'm like, hey, I don't know Aziz's purpose of going over there. He gave an answer that I can wrap my head around, and that's all I really needed. But yeah, he acknowledges, hey, there's some bad dudes over there, unlike Bill Burr.
Right.
Horrible things, and so people are questioning why you would go over there and take their money to perform in front of these people. And I'm just curious because you were there, you made this decision. I'm curious as to why you decided to do that.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you asked because it's something I put a lot of thought into, and I have an aunt.
My publicist made you before the show, said make sure we address this.
And I talked to her about this, and she said, there's people over there that don't agree with the stuff that the government's doing. And to ascribe like the worst behavior of the government onto those people, that's not fair. Just like there's people in America that don't agree with the things the government is doing.
I mean, the government over there is arresting people for peaceful protest. I mean, I know, we're doing horrible things over here, but they murdered a journalist. I mean, it's like,
shout out to Kimmel, like Kimmel, who always talks about he's an orange man bad guy. He always talks about how evil we are here. Mm-hmm. I will say shout out to him for saying like, there's horrible things here. That's not what we're talking about right now. You know what I mean? Like Kimmel actually did very well on this. I hope Burr will do this show and Kimmel will do the same. I don't think it's going to happen. No. It would be nice.
I think Bill Burr is going to cancel all his media appearances for a while.
I couldn't believe Bill Burr said, "I've been to LAX enough in my life." Like, he's okay retiring over this.
What a stand for him to go out.
It really is.
Over there. So did you deal with those people specifically?
No, I was just there to do a show for the people. And I talked to my wife about this, before I went. And she said, whenever there's repressive societies like this, they try to keep things out, whether it's rock and roll music or, blue jeans, because it makes people curious about outside ideas, outside values. And this is a very young country. Like, half the country is under the age of 25, and things can really change. And to me, like, a comedy festival felt like something that's pushing things to be more open and to push a dialogue. And you kind of have to make a choice of whether you're going to isolate or engage. And for me, especially being me and looking the way I do and being from a Muslim background, it felt like something I should be a part of. And I hope it pushes things in a positive direction.
Did you have these concerns?
I got to say, for me, I'm sure there are people that have much more knowledge of this issue and will argue with Aziz or whatever. For me, I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's good enough for me. Like, that's a fine enough reason to have gone over there. Yeah. And I think he's being honest. Like I said, he doesn't mention how much he got paid, but I think he's being honest. And I will say this. When the amounts came out, they should have run with that a little more. Like, they didn't get $10 million. They didn't get life-changing money for them.
How do they not have like how like when something happens and the left-wing media all says the same thing verbatim?
They
all
do.
these shit.
Louis and Aziz abided by it. And
Well, that's what
Bill's
I'm
just
saying.
been like, nah, they got a fucking Chili's, dude.
Yeah, like why weren't they all just like, hey, this is what we're saying. Everyone just say this. Don't veer off. Just say this.
There was no unity. And we'll get to the weirdest one, which I think is Jessica Kirson in a minute. But we have a lot more on this Riyadh stuff. So if you're not into it, check out now because there's still more to go.
India many years ago.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff there that, you know, I don't feel great about, and I did it, and, you know, I'm Indian, and it was an important experience for me. And, you know, comedy in India is really thriving, and people are talking about things that are happening there, and some of them are even, you know, go to jail and things. But for this Riyadh thing, you know, it was something I really thought about, and even before I went, I said, you know, I'm going to do this, and I hope it's positive, and, you know, if I'm going to do this, I share the concerns that people have brought up, and it's all valid. And I said to myself and to my team, I said, hey, if we do this, part of the fee should go to support causes that support, you know, free press and human rights. And
Good enough for me, Aziz.
And he actually tried.
He did try. We'll talk about that in a moment. But like when he said, hey, I hear people's concerns and they're all valid. Fine. Okay. You've heard us. Bill Burr has said it's all bullshit and they're all bots. It's fake. They're bots, and the media is twisting stuff, and the people are lying about me to make money. That's the craziest thing, is accusing everyone else of being greedy. Jesus Christ.
It's all bullshit. They all have machine guns.
Yeah. Like Aziz is coming from a different place. And by the way, I know Aziz's comedy to be silly stories about meeting Kanye West. You know what I mean? Like Aziz talks about pop culture. I don't know Aziz to be, I mean, he has a great bit about getting canceled and things like that, like later in his career. And Master of None, you could argue, is a little more serious in tone. But Aziz has not staked his reputation to be this guy who's calling out hypocrisy and corporate greed and all of that stuff. So, but yeah, so as Craig mentioned, he tried to give the money to a human rights foundation who had a very interesting response that flies in the face of everything Bill Burr is saying. So Aziz tried to give the money he made over there to, what's the charity? It's HRW, Human Rights
Watch.
Human Rights Watch. So he tried to give the money, and what was their response, Craig?
They cannot accept donations from Aziz Ansari and other comedians who performed at Riyadh Comedy Festival. While defending his decision to perform, Aziz said he planned to donate part of the fee, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a statement to Variety, a spokesman for Human Rights Watch said the organization cannot accept donations from Aziz or other comedians who have generously offered to donate part of their performance fees. It doesn't say, but while we cannot accept it, it is not too late for them to call for the release of detained Saudi activists.
Yes. They said, so the organization said, we contacted these comedians before going over there and said we would like them to publicly denounce a lot of this stuff that's going on. And the comedians said, fuck that. We're not gonna, we're gonna hope no one notices that we're going instead. That would be much better for us. And so this Human Rights Watch said, well, then we're not going to take your fucking money because we warned you about this.
Right. Fucking nuts. And then Jessica Kirson also.
So Jessica Kirson last week, the one who everyone was using as a prop, Bill Burr said, there's a lesbian comedian. You got to stand an ovation. What did she say about the experience? Because Bill talked about what a hero she was over there. And she has apologized for going, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, so her check cleared. And
yeah.
On September 29th, I performed at the Riyadh Comedy Festival. The decision has weighed heavily on my heart ever since. I'd like to express my sincere regret for having performed under government that will continues to violate fundamental human rights.
Top three moments of my life, according to Bill Burr. And which I said he has 2 kids. So 1 and 2. And then performing for the Silly Geese in Saudi Arabia.
I want to share context for my decision, not as an excuse, but because the people who have trusted me deserve to hear from me. Wow, what? If only everyone did that. As an artist, my mission has always been to help people feel less alone. As an openly gay person, when I was asked to perform at Riyadh, I was surprised. I requested a guarantee that I could be open about openly I could be openly out as a lesbian. Sorry.
So a lot of people are pointing to the clip from We Might Be Drunk where she goes, I would go over there. I wouldn't do any gay material, but so I don't know how true that is that she said I'm only doing gay material, but that's what she's claiming. It seems like a lie, but
I have donated the entirety of what I was paid to perform there to a human rights organization.
That has to be a gut punch to get so much shit that you're like, I'll donate all of it.
This thing, if people just said it was a big payday, so I took it, everyone would be like, yeah, I get it.
Tim said he would perform these acts on Jessica Kirson if they paid him more.
Yeah.
We'll get to the genius of Tim Dillon in a moment as well.
Most importantly, I am deeply sorry to all the fans and followers I have hurt or disappointed. I have a special relationship with my fans because of the vulnerable nature of my comedy and the trust they place in me as a part of a queer.
This actually kind of sucks. I feel bad for Jessica Kirson because she's like a nobody. In terms of this, in comparison to Dave Chappelle and Louis and Aziz,
For sure.
She's virtually a nobody. And this was probably a massive payday for her. And she's like, fuck, everyone's dragging me. Especially as a gay woman, you would almost think like maybe you'll be applauded for this. And everyone's like, fuck you. Like, I actually almost feel bad for Jessica Kirson.
I do.
Yeah. That kind of stuff. I have no problem with her. And again, I'll reiterate again. I don't know Jessica Kirson to have shit on Mariah Carey for accepting blood money. Like, I don't know Jessica Kirson to be so obviously hypocritical in this moment. Like, Burr is the only one I have a problem with.
If you look at it like when Bill Burr said, I've been to LAX enough, he's in a position where he could not work again and be completely fine, and so will his kids.
Yeah.
She's not.
I'm sure he flew coach over there to Saudi Arabia.
I love you all, and I am genuinely sorry for making a poor decision that had repercussions I didn't fully consider. I will take full responsibility for my actions and dedicate myself to making amends so that my words and choices reflect the respect and care you deserve.
Jessica, you're forgiven. The Blind Mike Project has forgiven you. Water under the bridge. Don't worry about it.
That's right.
And lastly, our last moment of talk about this Riyadh Comedy Festival is celebrating a genius. I really think Tim Dillon might have had this as a strategy going in.
Could be.
If he knew there was a guarantee, I think there's a chance he never planned on going to Saudi Arabia. Listen to this clip. And Mark Norman is known to exaggerate. Like, he throws things out that like maybe he's just kidding. This doesn't sound like a classic Norman zing. It sounds like he's giving out actual figures here. And if it's true, Tim Dillon might be a genius. This is from Tuesdays with Stories.
Timmy D, he got axed. He got decapitated. And he still got the deposit.
He got axed.
He's off the fest.
How come?
Too many jokes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah, because half the money and you don't have to do the gig. That's pretty good.
His deposit is more than my check. So
how can that be?
The best.
Is Tim Dillon twice as big as Mark Norman?
Probably.
You think?
Yeah.
That's wild. So if that's true, if they all had some guarantee, I do think there's a chance Tim looked at that and said, well, I'll just say I'm going to behand someone with Sebastian Maniscalco. They'll throw me off and I'll get half the money and not have to go over there.
There you go.
Genius. Truly genius. And he kind of, because he didn't change who he was, salvages his reputation.
I mean, there's no reason, I don't think, for them to have to go. I don't know. It's fucking weird.
That's really crazy. If they were all guaranteed half, they could have just not gone. That's a really crazy thing.
And it's not like they're getting live golf money.
No, that's what was really crazy to me when I saw the numbers, because I just assumed, based on the live deals are literally where I had my. That's why I was saying I bet Chappelle got like $10 million. Because of the live deals. I was like, they'll just throw whatever money at anyone. And when Tim said 375, I was kind of like, oh, you guys would make that up in a few weeks.
I know.
Like, Tim Dillon plays theaters. You're getting tens of thousands of dollars a night, if not 100,000 or more, I would think.
Right.
So yeah, the money surprised me, but Tim might be a genius if he realized that loophole. And also, Norman, tell your fucking agent that I don't think Tim Dillon is doubly as big as you. Like, it's a little closer than that, no?
Yeah, well, it could have been like Tim Dillon said, I'll do it for this, and they went, okay, like a counter.
He's a better negotiator.
Yeah.
Norman, get your people in line. Jesus Christ.
Norman was just like, whoa, Okay. Go to blindmike.net for everything Blind Mike. Look at me. I did it. Krager's did it.